everyone, and welcome to Taste of Photosynthesis, a podcast that'll up your wine game by 24% from your team here at Tscharke. I'm Cakes, and I'm looking forward to enjoying some delicious wines with you.
What's this thing here before we get started?
Well, you would have used one before, Paul.
Spittoon, is it?
Yes.
What's that?
In this podcast, Damien and Marco are joined by Ben and Paul, two well-seasoned wine lovers not afraid to speak their minds and represent the general drinking public. Each couple have brought a mystery wine to share blind, explore, and essentially unstitch one another.
Okay. See what you think of this. Wrap your laughing gear around this.
Like, how are they all the guys?
Big games. Hang on, are we good?
Yeah.
We were good. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess so.
Yeah.
He's done this before.
It's not your first rodeo.
No, it certainly isn't.
I'm
Big enough tasting for you, or? Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you. So it's premium wine, just by the presence of
Already knows what it is. Just by looking at this, naming it.
Ben, you're right. Good start. It's a red.
It's a red, yes. Good tannins. Dusty.
It's actually going to be a very hard one to pick.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, and it's heavily oaked, and new oak.
Yeah.
French, so it's expensive. New World.
You spent a lot on this bottle bag. Well done.
I think the trick is try not to read the person, just read the wine.
Yeah. You can't.
I'll forget that you brought it.
Okay. Don't waste it.
Damos is good, huh?
Well, it's a tough one.
It's over oaked on the palate. So to me, it's dried the fruit out.
Yeah.
So
I was just
suspect
about
it's
to say
either
that, yeah.
slightly too long on oak, or just they've gone too heavy with the percent of new oak on the wine.
Yeah. Even structurally, it's a bit too powerful. Maybe it is an aging wine, and we are drinking it too young. It is a.
Do you have an idea of region?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, let's go variety first.
Variety
I'd say
first?
Shiraz.
This is Shiraz.
Well, I think if we can get the variety, then it helps us
Yes.
narrow down the region. So
Yeah.
I'm generally always looking more for the varietal over region first.
Okay.
Smells like a Barossa Shiraz.
So it's a rich wine, and it's likely to be Shiraz or Cabernet. But this wine's presenting probably a bit too much more in the red fruit
Shiraz.
vein with a bit of spice. So I'm going Shiraz.
Yep.
You
No,
go.
I can't say
Yeah,
no
no,
to
you
my
can't
brother-in-law.
say- no, you can't.
No, I'm with him every time.
So 3 Shirazes, or is it?
Yeah, so we're going Shiraz.
It's a Shiraz.
Region, so a wine like this, you pretty much, it narrows it down to 2 regions. So you've got Barossa or McLaren Vale.
Yeah, McLaren Vale Shiraz are usually prettier than this. This fairly beastie for a Shiraz.
Fairly
So it's a
Beastie.
beast.
As in
beasting.
a beast of a Shiraz.
It is. So it's a Barossa Shiraz.
You're saying Barossa?
Mm-hmm.
Darko, you're saying
Barossa.
Barossa?
If it was to be Barossa though, who would it be? Because I think it's hard to see the fruit really because of the oak.
It's not like a garage winemaker. It's medium to big winery.
Yeah.
Like a Tscharke winery.
Perhaps bigger.
I'd expect
But not as good.
I'd
Not as
expect,
good.
I'd expect better.
Quality, not quantity.
I hope they're not watching.
So you're saying Barossa? You're saying Barossa?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go...
To the chief here.
McLaren Bar.
Okay.
Price point, it's 40 plus. Like, it's an expensive wine. You wouldn't put that much. Again, they've seen the quality in the fruit because they've spent the money on the oak. So they're certainly putting this in more of a premium range icon wine. Vintage. You reckon on vintage?
Well, now you kind
What
of
year?
convinced me with McLaren. I'm either thinking a more moderate vintage in the Barossa
Stick to your
or
guns.
a hot vintage in McLaren. So I'll go with moderate vintage in the Barossa.
Moderate vintage.
And so it's fairly recent vintage. It's not showing
It's got to be,
a
for
lot of
me,
age.
the amount of oak and this wine, it can't be 18. It'll almost be too young. Premature. I think it's
I'll go
starting
16.
to... I'd go 16. 17 to agree.
16.
So it'll be
16,
15,
yeah.
16.
So you're going Shiraz.
15, they usually have a much... but you can tell a wine is 15. Yeah, fucking this up because it's probably 15 or I'm saying it on camera. But yeah. I go 15 is usually a very hot wine, like a warm wine on the palate. It does taste spirity. All the 15s I had so far,
Yeah.
they're just spirity wines.
So you're saying it's a Shiraz from the Barossa, vintage,
16.
16. You're saying Shiraz, McLaren Vale,
16.
16.
Yeah.
You're saying Shiraz,
Barossa, 15, 16. I'll go with that.
Which one?
It's not a semi.
I'll say
In-
16.
16.
In between has been picked.
So now,
and a half.
do I get to
New
do the
Year's.
the grand
The
reveal?
unveiling.
Okay.
Oh, well, yeah, price point, you mentioned it.
Price point, yes.
Oh, well, I'm going to go
Should we call a producer as well?
45.
45?
35.
No, don't get producer.
35?
Okay.
52.
52. Okay.
It's very specific.
Right. So I can start off by letting you know that you are all right. Correct. I
Shiraz.
made it into the Shiraz. Those who picked McLaren Vale, you are correct.
Good call.
Those who picked, did anyone pick 2017?
No.
No, that's what it is.
Oh, that's not real.
And the price point, I think, it's around $75 a bottle.
Oh, that's fine.
70 to 75,
So I'm the biggest loser, pretty much.
approximately. I might be a few dollars out there, but that's about it.
I think once you start getting above $35, $40 though, it comes down to producer, because the producer has...
Right.
And
okay.
it is called a Chapel Hill roadblock.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
That's all right.
Bottoms up.
Well, I think for a 17 wine, if I can just enclose, knowing the wine now, in particular the vintage, which was a very sort of wet, cooler, greener, sort of herbaceous style, I think certainly they've pulled a great wine from a more challenging season.
Yeah. Knowing the vintage is actually...
Right.
Chip on
So
your
nice
shoulder.
one.
Have we decanted that one?
I know. And we?
We?
Your turn, is it?
It is.
Not that I want to give away too much.
Well, and am I actually standing up and doing it? Or?
Unless you've got very long arms.
Maybe we should have decanted this wine a little bit earlier. I feel
Yeah.
like.
Like a
I was
couple of
thinking
years
wine.
or...
Went down the trap door.
Right, I'll just have to have...
Sorry about that.
Is that your shoulder or are you the couch?
Right. Guys,
All right.
It's going to be hard to smell the wine.
Very off-putting, isn't it? Let me just have a... Oh.
I want you both to know that I've actually never had this wine before.
Yeah, same actually.
So, yeah. So it's a great opportunity to try something new.
So it's a distinction.
There's every chance I'll get nothing right in this. I'm just preempting that now.
Did you just look at the wine?
The vintage.
All right, good.
Well, the wine is clean, which is surprising. coming from Damien's collection.
Dirty collection.
We're supposed to actually say something educated now. They had their turn before.
Oh, it's not going to happen.
The wine is clean, very. I agree with you, 100%.
Well, give us a first impression.
It's red.
It is.
It is clean.
Do you like the wine?
No, it is. It's a nice drop.
Can I say, on the palate, though, knowing the wine, it's kind of got the cliche, like, hallmark qualities.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to say that because we know what it is.
Yeah, it is easy to say, but I would have picked it.
Yeah, but it's a classic example. I think it's a good example of the variety, style, and region that we're tasting.
I think especially coming from the previous wine, you might notice something on the palate. There is something quite weird about this wine that you think there is something.
Towards the back palate, I'm thinking.
Yeah. Actually, and that's probably a good way to look at this wine. We should talk about typically what are the qualities you'd expect from such a wine.
You always taste from the back palate, don't you?
But
Edit that out, thanks. Continue.
I mean, would you say, and I guess one of the traits of wine from this area is that often they look fairly, I don't want to say they're sharp, but they've got defined acidity. So this pronounced sourness coming from the acidity of the wine.
So we're picking region, no, we're picking varietal first, is that right? Or region?
In this case, I wouldn't pick variety.
No, it's going to be too hard.
Oh, well, just give us an idea. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, knowing you,
It's French.
this could be a French one.
Yeah, but don't read the person. Remember that.
No,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm just thinking it's...
But he hasn't tried
It's
it.
French.
It's a French wine?
It's French.
Well done.
Good. I'm happy to retire on that.
That'll do. Next.
But if you did know this was French now, that would really narrow it down if you knew French wines.
Yeah, which
Because
we don't.
typically anything coming from France, generally speaking, wouldn't be looking as vibrant perhaps as what this wine is showing, and the freshness, the acidity. It's all primary fruit, very little oak to no oak at all on the wine. And this, again, sort of this slight sour edge, which is just the freshness of the acidity coming through.
Also, I think literally looking at the wine, you can tell
It's a lot lighter.
what
It's a
it
lighter-
isn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So what variety are you thinking? Give me one. Let's say the previous one we had was black. Like you
Yeah.
could barely see through the wine.
This is like a Cabernet Shiraz sort of type of thing.
Is it a Grenache or something like that?
I like Paul's answer.
Yeah?
So it's a lighter colour.
Lighter colour, yeah.
It's a very light.
You know, it's also very spicy, savoury traits. So, I mean, Grenache can be, especially from France, very spicy.
Yeah.
It's not like a hot wine, one of those.
So it is a
extracted-
Grenache, I actually got it right.
No, it is not.
Oh.
I
Good.
was gonna say Grenache almost tends to, I don't know, show some sweetness, even though it's obviously not sweet. It has sweeter flavors, richer flavors to it. This is, as Damien said, sharp, and so if anything, I would have confused this with a Pinot Noir. Always tasting this, but then it is sharp, and
Yeah.
I think it is a relative great varietal to Pinot Noir. But, well, we know if it's from France, and it's not Grenache, not Cab Shiraz. Sorry.
It's a lot lighter.
So you've got to say varietal.
Yeah, well, you're not gonna guess the varietal.
No,
Sorry.
that's
Because
what
it's French.
But it's French. Region, unless you know it, you're not gonna guess it. But give us
Is
a
it
region.
France?
Give us a French region to look.
I'm just happy to get the country right, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Let alone the region. Bordeaux, there you go.
Right.
It's opposite of Bordeaux.
Is it near Bordeaux?
Stylistically, it is the opposite.
It's in France.
But to make one of our wines, we did drink a few of these guys, and not this particular producer.
The first one we had tonight was pretty
Yes.
much really based on this exact style, where they're made for young drinking. They're kind of the first red wines released of the vintage. And as was earlier, we had one of our wines that didn't see any sort of maturation, didn't go into any oak, young, vibrant sort of fresh wine. Holds its acid, all primary fruit. So the region's Beaujolais.
Yes. They've got a good football team.
Very good.
Yeah.
Having a bad.
So yeah, great
So-
wine.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, it's a good one.
it is nice.
Really, yeah. For
Summer
Is it
top.
it is.
That's why I asked about your collection and if you like that style, because this is kind of the opposite style.
Yeah.
Less structure, more freshness, vibrancy.
I'm yet to meet a style I don't like.
Right.
But you're right, it is
You're
different.
the ideal customer.
Correct.
It's a bit
So
of-
score
sounds a
it
bit
1 to
chilled.
It
10.
wouldn't be overly.
You could.
Cold,
You could.
though,
You wouldn't want to chill too much because of
It's
this.
2015.
2015.
So it actually has
Not too
few
bad.
years.
Yeah, a few years now.
these appellation. Is it a Julian's? So these appellations kind of in the middle. They have different appellations. They go from super fruity, floral, easy to kind of oaky, more serious. This sits sort of in between.
Yeah.
So I do suspect they actually did put it in oak at some point, but probably bigger or older barrels, and it's just not showing very
Coming
oaky.
through.
Yes, please.
Honestly, which one do you prefer? And we want a very honest opinion on this. Would you go for the Shiraz or this one?
Depends on the climate. Obviously, if it's a hotter weather, you're gonna go for this.
And what you're eating.
There you go. What would you pair this with?
Your pizzas, that sort of thing.
Right. Okay. This is it's known as the red wine to pair with fish. If there was
Or fish. Fish
I was gonna say
pizza.
seafood.
maybe not this
That's
appellation,
yeah.
but this region produces wine.
Seafood pizzas in particular would be
Oh, there you go.
You're an idiot.
We fixed that right now.
marinara things. Yeah. Especially the anchovies.
There's things with crabs like that pizza.
Should we do a third wine?
But why don't you use one that you bought? Oh, that's right.
Really tasting it, nothing.
No, I don't know.
Good wines.
That's a bit different, isn't it? I'll probably need to try more of that before I really made a decision. On the face of it, I think I prefer the Shiraz.
Yeah.
But that's because that's what I'm used to, like you said.
I think last time we had it blind. Did we get it? Yeah, we had it blind, put at a restaurant actually across the road. And we didn't like it because was just misunderstood. We didn't expect that acidity and we thought it was like an Australian wine that got sour.
Yes.
It wasn't done in this style. Whereas these wines are
Admittedly,
sour.
It wasn't as good as this. This
No,
is a great
that
wine.
at all.
So it's carrying it well.
So you're saying when you know it's a French wine, you accept the sourness or the acidity more than if you think you're drinking an Australian wine?
It is so pronounced that you would think any other wine you would think there's a problem with it. But
There are definitely some areas where perhaps, there are certain qualities in the wine or part of the wine that forms part of the wine style which is much more accepted or perhaps tolerated. New World, we're known for fruit and freshness and balance and probably having technically more correct wines. But in the Old World, there are some parts where perhaps, depending on the appellation, there are certain qualities that perhaps we don't encourage here, but they sort of accept as part of their style. And so you tend to be a little bit more leniency in some areas.
I really like this wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rate it.
So knowing this style, actually what they did here that I really like, there is a very good balance of savory, herbaceous qualities and very floral ones. It does smell pretty.
So price point?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
I have no idea what we pay for this one.
No.
Well, there's retail.
Well, it'll be
$56 one.
above 40 probably, or around 40 I would say.
Our retail would be 50 plus.
Mm.
We would have paid 40 to 50 for it. So you're looking around a $60, $70 wine.
So similar to the.
Well, maybe we're saying this and then it's like 100, but
Can
it's usually a cheaper region.
like we probably not.
And this wraps up episode 1. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to stay updated with all things Tscharke, follow us on Instagram, and we'll see you in the cellar next time.